What's up, everybody, and welcome back to What If, or actually, I don't know if I've done any of these before, but what if a country forms an empire? In this video, the country, or the state, is going to be, that is going to be forming an empire is Kaliningrad. This is something that I don't think anybody has ever done. I think I'm actually the first one to do it, so let's go. But Kaliningrad will be forming an empire today. And well, obviously with this, they are going to be breaking away from Russia. So, yeah, Russia will be fighting this war against Kaliningrad. However, for the sake of this video, Kaliningrad has to win. So in the civil war, Russia is going to get blockaded right here, and Belarus, is not going to let airspace. So Russia will just have to calm down and just let this go on for the rest of the video. So, we see that Russia will just let Kaliningrad be as they just moved all their military assets out of it. Or not all of them, because Kaliningrad will be using these right now to invade another country, if I can get a good enough sized brush. But the country that Kaliningrad will be invading first is Lithuania. Now obviously in the series we can't have NATO, otherwise Kaliningrad would get absolutely bombarded within the first 9 seconds. So, Kaliningrad is going to be attacking Lithuania, and this invasion is going to be swift, as we see that Kaliningrad takes the coast, and Lithuania is I don't know how strong Lithuania is, but we're just gonna assume that they're weaker than Kaliningrad because all the supplies from Russia are still there. But within a matter of months, Kaliningrad will fully take over Lithuania. Now let's take a look at this peace treaty. And in this peace treaty, we see that Kaliningrad gets a lot of land from Lithuania, and they give a little bit over to Belarus. Just, well, I don't really know. But with this, Kaliningrad is still gonna keep expanding as well, they're still pretty tiny and nobody is really afraid of them. So Kaliningrad is going to be going after Latvia next, and well, let's just say this, Latvia is gonna probably have the same fate, as we see that Kaliningrad will be declaring war. However, this time Estonia is going to join the war on the side of Latvia, as with the rapid expansion of uh Kaliningrad, they're kind of afraid that they'll be next. So when we see Kaliningradian, or I guess they're still Russian, but just yeah, we'll just call them Russian. But when we see Russian forces moving in to Latvia, um we see a lot of success being done in the first couple months of the war. Um, However, after that, Estonian forces will start to move down, and over here in the I think this is east, we see that the Latvians are able to push back the Kaliningradians, or I don't really know how to say them. We're just gonna call them Russian because they came from Russia. But with this, even though they are having a big pushback up here, they are still struggling as we see a bunch of troops getting encircled, and we continue to see that Kaliningrad is dominating in this war as they go around and encircle another huge group of troops, which surrenders over. And from here, we see that Kaliningrad even makes an advance into Estonia. This is huge, as Estonia never really thought that this would happen, so they decide to pull a bunch of troops out of here, which leads to this whole place just getting attacked. And then I believe the Estonian capital city is like right here. I think it is. I'll have to look it up. But this is not good, as we see Latvia falling, and now all of Kaliningrad's forces are focused on Estonia. And yeah, to put it quite frankly, Estonia might actually be cooked in this, as we see that they continue to move around Estonia, as they even, I'm just gonna, let's just put their capital city right there. Good enough. But as we see that they near the capital city and eventually take it, Estonia is gonna surrender, and we can now look at this peace treaty. In this peace treaty, we see Latvia being fully annexed, as well as half of Estonia getting annexed as well. And well, Kaliningrad is having a huge celebration as they have officially became a little relevant in the world. So, what are they going to do next? Well, they're going to be invading yet another country. This country is going to be Belarus. As Belarus, they're still partners with Russia, and Kaliningrad doesn't like Russia. So we are going to be seeing this is going to be the toughest war yet for Kaliningrad. But the Kaliningrad forces are going to start to move into Belarus, and to put it quite frankly, Belarus is not prepared for this. As Kaliningrad, they did give them a little bit of land over here, but there were no military assets over here. They're all on Poland's border. So the Kaliningrad forces are going to have a amazing time going into the center of the country. As in the modern day, I think Belarus does have a lot of troops over here, as they don't really like NATO because they're friends with Russia. But with this, we see that um, Kaliningrad is going to have a wonderful time. Even though that Belarus does have Russian equipment, they were not prepared, and the Kaliningrad forces have a very, very large head start. And to make worse is even worse for Belarus, we are going to see Ukraine join in on the war. They don't like Belarus. Kaliningrad doesn't like Belarus, so they're gonna join in on the war. And now, yeah, it's basically over. As we see that the Ukrainian forces start to move in, we're just gonna say in this timeline that if there was no war between Ukraine and Russia, otherwise this would not have happened because then Russia could have just went like this and took all of Ukraine. So, yep, not gonna happen. But we see that their forces eventually meet up, and then Belarus surrenders, effectively ending the conflict. And now we can take a look at this peace treaty. In this peace treaty, we see that Belarus is now gone, and yeah, Ukraine gets a lot of land, and Kaliningrad gets a lot of land. So win-win for both countries. And what is going to happen after this? Well, Ukraine and Kaliningrad are going to become very good friends. They're not going to unite, obviously, but they see some competition over here between Poland and Germany. Germany, of course, is not siding with Poland on this one because of World War II. Uh, let's just not say that ever again. But yeah, with this, we're going to be seeing another war taking place. Not to attack Poland, of course. Oh no, Kaliningrad, what have you done? But Kaliningrad has now just declared war on Poland, and let's just say that there may be a country over here that wants a little bit of revenge. So, uh, yeah, Germany is going to declare war on Poland, and Ukraine is going to declare war on Poland, and Poland is cooked, as they have a stronger neighbor to the west and a very strong neighbor, two very strong neighbors to the east. Or crap, it's the other way around. But we see that the first move is a very large front by Kaliningrad and the Ukrainians, and immediately the Germans will follow as well, as they would like their borders from World War One. They just want all of Poland. But with this, Poland has been invaded for the 10 millionth time in history. Good job, guys. But this invasion does not go very long, as Poland was they had a two-front war. They literally couldn't do anything. So this peace treaty is going to be interesting. In this peace treaty, we see Poland is now. I mean, they're still here, just under the puppet of Kaliningrad. But Kaliningrad gets a bunch of this land from Poland, as well as Germany and Ukraine. And well, Kaliningrad really doesn't have anywhere to expand. Sure, they could go after Estonia, Finland, or Sweden, but I mean, if they attack these guys, they'd probably all just gang up on them. And they can't go after Russia, of course, because Russia is still pretty strong, as, well, they literally just lost a tiny piece of land. And, well, there's really nowhere for them to go. So, they're just gonna make the hard move and take one for their team. I mean, they're not gonna. I mean, they might die. I don't really know, but they're gonna redeclare war on Estonia, and with this, Sweden is gonna come to the aid as well as Finland. Norway is gonna stay out of the conflict for now, as it's like a 3v1, and they expect these guys to win. But right after this, we see that a small amount of Kaliningrad forces will start moving into Estonia. These guys are now super weak, as they literally stood no chance. But right now, the these guys are gonna set up a naval blockade of Kaliningrad. So well, Kaliningrad is gonna do some stuff, and some of this stuff is breaking through the thing with submarines, and then they take this island, which is not very good, as the capital city's right here, very close. Um, Now with this though, the Finland is going to start their move now, as they want to get rid of Kaliningrad now, as they will start an invasion into Kaliningrad. However, Kaliningrad is then going to respond by making several naval invasions of Finland, even capturing the capital city. Finland doesn't really care though, as they have a bunch of cities everywhere, and, well, they knew that it was going to get captured, so they moved it up here. But we see that Kaliningrad is going to try to take all of the coast, to make it very hard to put troops down here, as they do take a lot, and now they would have to go through here to get to there. So not very good if you're these guys. But as we can see, that this war is taking forever. Like, it's a really long war. So we're gonna see that Sweden tries to make a naval landing of the I think this is Janu Island. I don't really know. But after this happens, we see that Kaliningrad has a huge breakthrough, and they send a ton of troops into Finland. And when I say a ton, I mean a ton, as they capture a lot of Finland in a very, very short amount of time. However, with this, Swedish forces move up here, and they're going to start to halt the expansion. However, now Finnish troops are now kicked out of Kaliningrad territory, and well, they recapture the island. Not that one island that is south of Florida, of course. But with this, we see that the Kaliningrad will make a couple of landings. Even, I think their capital city's right there. But they are going to do the same thing that they did to Finland, or they're going to try to. This is gonna go kind of unsuccessful though, as Sweden is far more powerful than Finland. However, they're a fairly strong country. However, when they get down to here, it's not looking too good, as basically the whole north is not looking too good. But this front line is eventually stalemated until Kaliningrad is actually gonna bring in a new ally. This ally is Denmark, as Denmark, they used to have an empire, and they used to go up to here, I believe, or I think they actually had all of Scandinavia. But the Danish, and their Lego army are gonna start an invasion of, Sweden, trying to reclaim lost territory from the past, as, also because they are manufacturing so many Legos that, Sweden cannot keep up with the army, and, well, the south of Sweden basically falls within a couple of months. And from here we are going to see the capital getting captured, as this is a very, very large defeat. Along with this, we see that Kaliningrad finally breaks through up here in the north, as they start to go around the coast again, and then they start to continue to invade in, capturing all this territory in not very long amounts of time. However, now Russia is going to join in on this war, as they want some land for themselves, as yeah, they lost land to Kaliningrad. But with this now, Finland falls, and then shortly after, Sweden surrenders. And now we can take a look at this peace treaty. In this peace treaty, we see a couple of things happening. One being that Kaliningrad takes all the south of Finland and the capital of Sweden, now making basically a Baltic Sea empire. Like they have all of this naval control right here. So Russia's navy is basically obsolete. Russia gets a lot of Finland, and Sweden loses their southernmost part to Denmark. But now that Kaliningrad has, well, basically formed an empire, we are going to be seeing a couple of sides emerging to try to stop Kaliningrad's expansion. One of these is obviously going to be Sweden. They also have this because Finland would not have been able to survive. This also includes Norway as, well, yeah, they just don't want to die to a tiny little nation that came from Russia. And, well, this is not the only people joining, as we also see that Denmark joins as, well, yeah, they just fought a war, but that doesn't mean that they like Kaliningrad. Um, but Kaliningrad is starting to make some enemies, and this may come back to bite them. But these are sure, these are pretty bad, but Kaliningrad has a couple of allies of their own. This consists of Germany and Ukraine. Uh, but with this now, Russia is gonna get a little scared. So, oh, nope, not orange. We're gonna put this one. What? Okay, yeah. But now, Russia is gonna create their own alliance to stop Kaliningrad. This consists of Kazakhstan, and it's basically just the USSR. Okay. But we see that the somewhat USSR returns, over here at least, not in Europe, because Europe is underneath Kaliningrad. But yeah, these alliances are to stop them from going this way. And with this, we are also going to see another alliance forming over here, which is the um just let me make sure. Yep, all good. This is going to be the Balkan Alliance, as the Balkan countries don't really want the Ukrainians to come in here. This consists of Romania and like these countries right in here, so they don't want these guys coming in. And well, yeah, this basically condenses. I mean, they literally can't do anything now. They can either fight Russia or fight the yellow team. The yellow team is probably better to fight. But it is on this very day that Kaliningrad will make a very, very large mistake, maybe costing their empire. This mistake happens over here on the border of them and the yellow team, as we see that one guy or one military troop decided that it would be kind of funny just to walk into here, and yeah, they walk into there with guns, and this immediately goes to Sweden. However, this is not the only thing that happens, as the the same thing happens over here in Russia, as they reach across and even cut this little part off from up here, which does not go very well with Russian intelligence. And with this, just after, we see that the Kaliningrad forces will start their official invasion into Russia. They don't announce it to the world at this point, but like they do start an invasion, as they take all of their Black Sea access and even St. Petersburg, I think. But along with this, we see that the same thing happens over here to the yellow team, as now that they know Kaliningrad is on the move and they want to take land. Um and this will officially start uh basically the collapse of Kaliningrad, as right after this war will be declared, and well, Sure, Germany is strong, but like when you're getting ganged up by Russia and a bunch of other countries, you're not so strong anymore. As we see that Ukraine will actually get a jump on Russia. It's like it's like opposite day. Um, but we see that Ukrainian forces start to move into Russian territory. Um, this is not very good for Russia as they didn't expect this. Followed by Kaliningrad going all in on Russia as they are the most powerful. And then they kind of tell Germany, do your thing, take Denmark and the Legos, which causes Denmark to break down in tears. But also the Kaliningrad armies are going to start moving into Denmark as well, as Denmark will completely capitulate, besides in Greenland, where the Legos are now going. But now, with all of their forces on this front line, we see that Sweden is kicked out of this peninsula, and now the Russians have to fight off this big thing. This is not very good, as now this whole it looks like a animal. But with this, Russia is actually going to get quite scared, as this is like the first time since like World War II that they've gotten invaded into by Germany, Ukraine, and the Baltics. So yeah, you can imagine what's going to happen here, as Russia is actually going to ask the Lime team to make a surprise attack on the Red team, and they're going to do it. As this happens, and yeah, the Ukrainians were not ready for this. They didn't expect it. And followed by this is an invasion over here, and even a Russian invasion of Crimea. That's very controversial. But we see that the Russians invade Crimea as well, as they start to move around the coast. And yeah, they start to trap the Ukrainian military. As well as this, we see that they will actually occupy Moldova for a while to send forces in. But yeah, at this point, Ukraine is actually their capital city is right here. But they're getting kind of scared, and Germany actually starts to pull forces and put them down here. However, with this, let's just say the French are coming, as well as a bunch of other countries. Oh boy, oh no, what have you gotten into? What have you done? As we see that Germany has officially started World War III. Good job, the Germans. You've really done a lot. As when this starts, because the they are not very excited about this, but when this starts, yeah, we see that a bunch of nukes hit Germany, and yeah, this is amazing. As we see tons of nuclear weapons just being unloaded across Germany, and I mean a couple fall in the ocean, but like Kaliningrad is unhit until Russia starts sending them all in, as this bombards basically every city in Kaliningrad, even the capital, like 80 times. Like it's just a bunch of radiation. But yeah, a bunch of nukes are sent out, and since Germany doesn't have any nukes, and neither does Kaliningrad, uh, or Ukraine, this is not going to go very well, as we see thousands of nukes are going to be hit or shot at every single country in the Red Alliance. And with this, we're going to see the surrender of the Red Alliance. And now let's look at this peace treaty. And in this peace treaty, the world is reverted back to normal. Yippee! But that is gonna do it for What If Kaliningrad Formed an Empire. I hope you guys liked this video. Please make sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one.